Get in, get loot, get out. Or get domed by a guy hiding in a bush and lose everything you've spent the last 45 minutes collecting. That is the brutal, beautiful, and utterly addictive loop of the extraction shooter. This genre has absolutely exploded, largely thanks to one big, scary Russian granddaddy, Escape from Tarkov. But Tarkov isn't on Steam, and let's be real, a lot of us like to keep our library in one place. So the question is, can you get that same heart-pounding, high-stakes thrill on Valve's platform? The answer is a resounding yes. In fact, some of these games are giving Tarkov a serious run for its money. Today, we are diving deep into the absolute best extraction shooters you can play on Steam right now. We've got everything from gritty military sims and sci-fi nightmares to fantasy dungeon crawls and even turn-based tactics. It gets weird, and it's awesome. So gear up, check your mags, and smash that like button. This is the ultimate guide to Steam's extraction shooter scene. Let's drop in. Alright, kicking things off with a game that looks like it crawled straight out of a James Cameron nightmare. This is the Forever Winter. The premise is simple. Humanity is losing a war against terrifying skyscraper-sized mechs and their robotic armies. If you're thinking, hey, that sounds like the Terminator, you're not wrong. The devs are leaning into it hard, and it works. This is a third-person shooter where you are not the hero, you are prey. The game is unforgivingly difficult, especially at the start. You'll be scavenging for scraps, managing precious resources like water, and just trying to survive long enough to extract with a single decent weapon part. But man, does it look good doing it. The visuals are absolutely stunning, creating this oppressive, bleak atmosphere that carries the experience. It's still finding its footing with a mostly positive score, but if you want a challenge and love that post-apocalyptic man versus machine vibe, the Forever Winter is one to watch. Alright, let's trade our rifles for longswords and our grenades for fireballs. What if you took the tension of an extraction shooter and smashed it together with a classic Dungeons & Dragons adventure? You'd get dark and darker. This idea is so brilliant, I can't believe it took this long to happen. You pick a fantasy class, barbarian, rogue, wizard, you know the drill, and you delve into a sprawling, monster-filled dungeon with your friends. Your goal? Find treasure, kill monsters, kill other players who want your treasure, and find an escape portal before a deadly shrinking storm of darkness consumes you. It's high fantasy Tarkov, and it's incredible. The game had a bit of a rocky road to get to Steam, but now that it's here and free to play, there's no reason not to try it. It's still in early access, but teaming up with your buddies, hearing the footsteps of another party in the next room, it's a unique kind of terror and excitement you won't find anywhere else. Okay, back to the world of modern military realism, or at least something close to it. Delta Force is a name that might ring a bell for old-school shooter fans, and it's back as a free-to-play extraction shooter. On paper, Delta Force has it all. The gunplay feels crisp, the tactical options are deep, and the moment-to-moment action is genuinely thrilling. When you get into a good lobby, it feels like a blockbuster action movie. But let's talk about that mixed Steam score. There's an elephant in the room, and it's wearing aimbots. The game has unfortunately developed a reputation for having a serious cheating problem. It's a huge bummer because the core game is so good. The developers, Team Jade, are constantly rolling out updates and working on anti-cheat, so there is hope. If you can find a clean match, you'll have an absolute blast. It's free, so it's worth a look, but go in with your expectations managed for now. This one is a potential packed work in progress. Speaking of legends, let's talk about one of the OGs. Before the genre exploded, there was Tarkov and there was Showdown. And to this day, it remains one of the most unique, atmospheric, and terrifying multiplayer games ever made. Set in the monster-infested Louisiana bayou of 1896, you play as a bounty hunter tasked with tracking down and banishing a monstrous boss. The catch is so is every other team on the map, and they will hear everything. This is the genius of Hunt. It's a game about sound. Every step you take, every flock of birds you startle, every gunshot, it's all information you're giving away to your enemies. It creates a level of tension that is almost unbearable, in the best way possible. The gunfights with slow reloading 19th century weapons are desperate and messy. Crytek are masters of their craft, and Showdown is their masterpiece. If you haven't played it, you're missing out on a pillar of the genre. Okay, this next one might seem like a weird pick for an extraction shooter list, but hear me out. Fans of indie darlings, get ready for Hyper Light Breaker. This is the 3D roguelike sequel to the phenomenal Hyper Light Drifter. You drop into this gorgeous cel-shaded world to fight the Abyss King. Each run, you get stronger, find new gear, and unlock new abilities. But where's the extraction part, I hear you asking? Well, while it's a roguelike at its core, the loop is pure extraction. You go in, you collect resources, you kill enemies, and if a run is getting too spicy, or you found some amazing loot you don't want to lose, you can choose to extract. You can bank your progress, regroup, and go back in stronger. Playing it like an extraction shooter is the key to cracking its steep difficulty curve. It's a beautiful, stylish, and frantic game that secretly has the soul of an extraction shooter. Alright, let's get weird. What if you took the brutal gear loss anxiety of an extraction shooter and made it turn-based? Meet Quasimorph. This game is a tactical sci-fi horror RPG where you lead a team of mercenaries to reclaim corporate space stations from a demonic plague. You deploy, you fight possessed employees and horrific monsters, you grab valuable loot, and you have to get to the extraction point before things go completely off the rails. It's that classic XCOM vibe mixed with the high stakes of Tarkov, and it is a shockingly compelling combination. With a very positive rating, this is a hidden gem that proves the extraction loop can work in any genre. Okay, I want you to look at this game. Now look at the price. Now look at the Steam score. Yeah, you need to know about Hull. This game is pure distilled atmosphere. It's an indie extraction shooter that feels like you're playing Tarkov inside one of those creepy liminal space or backrooms videos. It is deeply unsettling, fascinating, and incredibly tense. It blends tactical FPS combat with psychological horror masterfully, feeling like a modern-day Fear at times. It's brutally difficult, but the feeling of accomplishment when you finally extract from one of its surreal blocky stages is unmatched. For $5, this is not just a recommendation, it's practically a demand. Go play Hull. It's one of the most unique experiences on this list. Have you ever looked at Escape from Tarkov and thought, this is great, but I wish it looked like a 16-bit classic from the 90s? If so, first of all, you have very specific tastes. And second, I have the perfect game for you, Zero Sievert. This is without a doubt top-down Tarkov, or maybe 2D Stalker. You explore a procedurally generated post-apocalyptic wasteland, scavenging for gear, modding your weapons down to the tiniest component, and fighting off bandits and mutated wildlife. And do not let the pixel art fool you. This game is just as demanding and complex as its 3D inspirations. The atmosphere is thick, the inventory management is deep, and the tension of trying to limp back to your base with a backpack full of loot while low on health is very real. Zero Sievert is an absolute gem that proves that you don't need photorealistic graphics to create a nail-biting extraction experience. What do you get when you throw Dark Souls, Destiny, and an extraction shooter into a gothic fantasy blender? You get the dark, beautiful, and punishingly fun Witchfire. Creators of The Vanishing of Ethan Carteret and Painkiller, this game is a visual feast with gameplay to match. You are a witch hunter, armed by the Vatican with guns and forbidden magic, sent to a land corrupted by a powerful witch. It's a roguelike where your meta progression feels incredibly satisfying. You go on runs, collect a magical essence called Witchfire, and if things get too hairy, you can escape back to your base to permanently upgrade your stats and unlock new gear. The gunplay is fast, fluid, and punchy, and combining it with elemental magic is just pure, unadulterated fun. With a very positive 92% score, Witchfire is for anyone who wants their extraction loop served with a side of gothic horror and a whole lot of style. And finally, we come to the Titan, the phenomenon, the game that took the world by storm and had millions of people screaming for Super Earth at their monitors. Of course, it's Helldivers 2. Look, is it a traditional extraction shooter? Maybe not in the Tarkov sense. There's no persistent loot you lose on death aside from samples. But the core loop is extraction. You drop onto a hostile planet, you complete objectives, you gather resources, and you fight tooth and nail to get to the extraction shuttle before you're torn apart by giant bugs or socialist robots. It captures the essence of the genre perfectly. The tension of that final 2-minute countdown to extraction is as high stakes as it gets. But where Helldivers 2 truly shines is in its sheer, unadulterated fun. It's a brilliant satire of fascism, a masterclass in live service storytelling, and one of the most chaotically hilarious co-op experiences you can possibly have with your friends. It's accessible, it's polished, and it is without a doubt one of the best and most popular games on Steam right now that is built entirely around the thrill of extraction. So there you have it, 10 incredible, diverse, and downright brilliant extraction shooters you can get on Steam. From top-down pixel art to AAA cinematic chaos, this genre is so much more than just one game. It's a thriving ecosystem of creativity and high-stakes fun. Now I want to hear from you. What's your go-to extraction shooter? Did I miss a hidden gem that deserves a spot on this list? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Until then, good luck out there. May your raids be profitable and your extractions successful.